Ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to the end of our two-day dialogue. Let us now follow some remarks by Director for Asia and Europe of IFES. Please welcome Mr. Vasu Mohan.
Good evening. It is my privilege to work with colleagues around the world every day, such as those of you who gathered here. And I wish you're standing here and seeing this sea of remarkable faces, people who have been engaged in 2 full days of deliberation. So it's my honor to address you and to share some closing remarks. To all of the colleagues, to all of the dignitaries who are present here, I will not go through listing each one of you, but I do want to capture that the last session here, the review of the Bali commitments, I hope that the review of the Bali commitments will remind us that it is all of our responsibilities, civil society, disabled people's organizations, election management bodies, all of whom are represented in this room, the international community that supports the associations of bodies that are present here. So it is our collective responsibility to eliminate barriers that inhibit people from participating in political life. And especially today, the Jakarta Addendum, which focuses on identifying and addressing overlapping forms of marginalization, the intersectionalities that exist within discrimination. So that is a particularly important next step to ensure that voices of all ASEAN citizens are heard in governance. ASEAN is in the midst of building the ASEAN community, shifting emphasis from growth-centered development to human-centered development. And the contribution of agenda is extraordinary in that step, and it's a right step for the inclusion of citizens of ASEAN countries with disabilities. This reinforces the ambition of ASEAN to be a leader in the world in democratic inclusion. So congratulations to everyone who has taken an important step in participation. I work with IFES in Washington, and I cover a very vast region of countries. And ASEAN is the example that we use globally to show how the rights of people with disabilities can be mainstream, can be addressed in partnership between civil society and government. I just returned from Kathmandu, where the Federation of Election Management Bodies of South Asia gathered and were deliberating on a variety of issues, and I had the privilege to share agenda and agenda successes with them. So the checklists and the materials that are being developed by agenda have been used across the world, in Nepal, in Latin America, in several other places. So I think please know that the work that's happened here has ripples not just for ASEAN, but across the world. So those are just a few things to capture for closing remarks, but I do have a list of thank yous. First of all, thanks to our honored participants from disabled people's organizations from across ASEAN and globally. We have over 27 countries represented in this room today. We also have distinguished guests from election management bodies, from other state and regional institutions, civil society organizations, academics, medias, embassies, and development organizations. So thank you to all of you for your participation in this event. And a special thanks to those of you who were speakers and moderators who kept to time, who sort of distilled years of work into very poignant and short summaries. So apologies for all of you. The moderators tried their best to keep you on time. I hope what you couldn't share on stage, you had the opportunity to share with each other in conversations. Agenda also would like to thank the Australian government, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, for their support to this program and this conference. And as His Excellency Mr. Simon Philip Merrifield, the Australian ambassador to ASEAN, said yesterday, if members of the general public see that the rights of marginalized members in their community are being taken seriously, then they are likely to perceive that their government is acting fairly on a range of issues. This is true of ASEAN countries, and it is true of countries around the world. A democracy is only as strong as its weakest member, as its most marginalized member. So a special thank you to Agenda's co-hosts for the regional dialogue, the Indonesia General Elections Commission, the KPU, thank you for your leadership, the Association of World Election Bodies from Seoul, we have 2 representatives from there, thank you for your collaboration, and for all the election management bodies who are here in a show of support to this work. Several other organizations lent valuable time and resources to make the regional dialogue a success. I would like to extend a special thank you to the Bluebird Group, who provided safe and accessible transport and truly went beyond transportation to support in getting many of our friends to the dialogue. Also to our wonderful volunteers from Bravo and JPPR, thank you for your tireless efforts throughout the last 2 days. It's really, you yourselves are a source of inspiration to all of us. So finally, on behalf of IFES, on behalf of Agenda, I thank you all for your participation and wish you every success in carrying forward the insights and the enthusiasm and the inspiration that we've gained from this event. I take definitely that inspiration back with me, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Vasu Mohan. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to the speech by the Minister of Social Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia to officially close our 3rd regional dialogue on access to elections, followed by a presentation to 5 agenda partner countries. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Her Excellency Ms. Khofifah Indar Parawansa.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. Distinguished Secretary General Association of World Election Bodies, Distinguished National Commission of Election in Asia Pacific, distinguished delegates, speakers, and organizers of the meeting, Excellency, the representative of DFED, IFES, Australian Aid, JPPR, KPU, first of all, let me to thank the Almighty God for blessing us to have opportunity to be here and meet each other. It is great honor for me to be part of this valuable meeting. I'm proud and appreciate the initiatives of activist disability movement in ASEAN region to promote disability rights in political issues. Distinguished participants, Southeast Asian region is an important part in Asian and Pacific region. There is 90 million people living with disabilities in this region. Mostly people with disabilities in this region still left behind and face barriers in their life. There are also many lack of access to meet their needs, including needs to participate in political. Participation is key important rights for persons living with disabilities to express their thoughts and their hope. By taking actively participation, persons with disabilities involved in many activities of life thus have opportunity to make decisions on their own. Distinguished participants, since last 2 decades, disability has become global issues. There is transformed paradigm shift disability from welfare-oriented to human rights. from seeing disability as an individual problem to social problems. It is remarked by adoption to Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, CRPD, by mostly countries in over the world, including in ASEAN region. Asian countries geographically have similarity in its culture, such as having consensus and also respect to representativeness. ASEAN became a community in 2015, which it may become a community with a social responsible, people-oriented, and people-centered. In conjunction to this spirit, persons with disability in this region need to more actively participate in all aspects and life to be equal with others. Indonesia, according to the National Statistics Agency, has population with disabilities around 6 million. In 2014, we just finished general election both for vote members of parliament and election to vote the head of the government, this country. With regard to the rights of persons with disability in political issues, the National Constitution of the Republic Indonesia, the law which is amendment on Article 28D stipulate that every citizen has rights to be equal in governmental. This article also states that each individual person has right to get access and special treatment. Furthermore, this article states that every individual person shall free from discrimination based on anything and has right to be protected from discrimination. In terms of the general election in Indonesia, the law number 42 by 2008 on general election, Article 113 stipulates that room voter or TPS for general election should easy to reach and accessible for persons with disabilities. In order to protect and fulfill the right of persons with disability in political activities, government of Indonesia through the National Plans of Action on Human Rights and Persons with Disabilities by 2015-2019 also put issue of civil and political rights of persons with disabilities. Some agenda of action in the National Plans of Action are requirement persons with disabilities to be official government, conducting program involving persons with disabilities for planning by doing forum at Musrenbang, identify data of persons with disabilities into list participant of voter general election, and build accessible room for voters to give their vote. Distinguished participants, to conclude my speech, I would like to congratulate to activists and disability movement in Asian region for your doing actively advocacy and in disability, especially in political issues. Hope when you return home, you have valuable experience and will contribute to democracy in your country. I also remind that we need to work hand in hand among governments, civil societies organizations, and whole of communities to improve quality of life people with disabilities. Finally, I hope you enjoy your time in Indonesia and establish network with others. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Ibu Menteri, kami mohon untuk tetap berada di atas panggung. Please accompany Her Excellency Mr. Afifuddin, Coordinator of JPPR. And now we would like to invite representatives of agenda partner countries to receive a plaque from Her Excellency the Minister of Social Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. First, we would like to invite Mr. Nai Lin Soy from Myanmar. The next, Mr. Ngin Saurat from Cambodia. Followed by Ms. Nguyen Hong Ha from Vietnam, Ms. Josephine De Vera from the Philippines, and last but not least, Mr. Gufron Sakaril representing Indonesia. The first one goes to Mr. Nai Lin Soy from Myanmar. The next goes to Mr. Ngin Saurat from Cambodia. Please have your picture taken first. And the next one goes to Ms. Josephine De Vera from the Philippines, as well as to Ms. Nguyen Hong Ha from Vietnam, and also to Mr. Gufron Sakaril, Indonesia. Please remain on stage for a photo opportunity. And next agenda would also like to present a token of appreciation to the Minister of Social Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. Everyone, please remain on stage. We invite Mr. Vasu to present a token of appreciation to our minister. Excellency, this is to show our appreciation to you. And we are really happy and proud to have you to join us here to close the third regional dialogue on access to elections. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes Agenda's third regional dialogue on access to elections. We hope that everyone have reaped fruitful benefit, and we hope that what we have achieved through this dialogue can be carried out in the future for better access to elections for all of us. On behalf of Agenda, we would like to thank everyone for your participation, cooperation, and attendance. Once again, we thank Her Excellency, the Minister of Social Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, for gracing us with your attendance. And to our foreign speakers and participants, have a safe trip back home. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Until we meet again, until next time. Thank you.